I'm in the mood to build something spooky, so I think we're gonna try and build a haunted house in The Sims. It is Halloween after all, so it feels appropriate. And also, I haven't built like a proper haunted house since the Paranormal Stuff Pack came out, and that was in January. So it's been a little bit. I feel like I probably should try and build something haunted now. I've definitely built some like vampire houses and done some like renovations that are a bit on the spooky side, but I haven't built like a flat out haunted house since that pack came out. And there is a haunted house lot type. Like they gave us a new lot type, residential or haunted residential. So I wanted to make an official haunted house to celebrate Halloween, and that is what I did today. So we're building this in the vampires world just because it felt appropriate. So I'm building this over by Vlad's house. In fact, I know you're a fan. So it's not supposed to be like a vampire house though. I was aiming more for ghosts. Like in the realm of things that are spooky in this home, it's not like the bloodsucker kind of spooky. It's like the transparent people kind of spooky. And I realized the house is looking a bit weird right now, but I swear it comes together in the end. I was looking at a reference photo of like a drawing of a haunted house. You know, like the cartoon haunted house you picture? I was looking at photos like that and trying to sort of mimic the shape a little bit. The problem is that those houses in the drawings are not like normal shaped. Do you know what I mean? Like those houses are always very like curvy. Like the walls are like leaning, which you can't really do in The Sims 4, but I was kind of trying to mimic that a little bit. I also wanted to have like some kind of fancy roofing, and this house ends up being pretty big. So it's 3 stories and the upstairs is functional. There is a whole room upstairs. There's 4 bedrooms on the 2nd floor, and then the upstairs is on a hidden ladder behind a bookcase door. And up there I put like some of the Paranormal Stuff Pack items. It's kind of meant to be like a library, but it also has the seance table and things like that. So if you want to use it, it's up there in the attic. Although it's not like a spooky attic. There's like a window and everything. It's kind of a nice space. And there's an extra bathroom up there. This house has 4 bathrooms as well. There's like a small bathroom downstairs, 2 bathrooms upstairs, and then another bathroom on the 3rd floor. So it's a pretty good space, and you could probably sneak a basement into this house too. I didn't have space for a staircase down there, but you could probably sneak one if you wanted one somewhere. I feel like this kind of house is sort of appropriate for a basement as well. Like you just know there's some weird stuff going on underneath this house. I did put a graveyard in the backyard too. I feel like I was kind of channeling my inner Sims 3 goth house for this one. So in The Sims 3, the goth mansion was like a lot more dramatic and a lot more haunted house-like than it is in The Sims 4. Their lot is pretty small in The Sims 4, so they don't have like the same massive amount of land, but they had like a pond, they had all sorts of things. They had lots of terrain manipulation happening, which obviously we didn't have when The Sims 4 first came out, so it makes sense they didn't get any of it. But they also have like a graveyard next to their house, so I was kind of channeling a little bit of those vibes for this house. Granted, I feel like I shouldn't say I was channeling The Sims 3 for this house, because that's not a good sign. You don't want to channel The Sims 3 build mode for anything. A lot of the lots in The Sims 3 were super ugly. Like you think some of the EA builds in The Sims 4 are bad, you don't want to go back there. You don't want to go back then. It was a different time. Things were a lot worse back in the olden days. But I feel like this house actually makes a lot of sense. The layout kind of works. I was proud of myself. I feel like sometimes with houses like this one, I struggle with the floor plan and then also the layout of the yard, because I want this house to be very formal and like pristine in its landscaping. And so I tend to sort of struggle with how to pull that off, because I do a lot more like overgrown, like cutesy flowery landscaping. And with a house like this one, I mean, that's just not gonna cut it. So I feel like I kind of struggle with that, but this one kind of worked. And the other problem with the floor plan is that this house is so symmetrical that doing a floor plan is always hard, because the rooms are so skinny if you want the stairs in the middle, and I don't know, it's a whole thing, but it kind of works. And you'll see as we do the floor plan how it comes together. Also, one last little thing, I painted this house last. Like I did the whole exterior, I did the whole interior, and the very last thing I did on this house was put wallpaper on the outside. So that might bother you for this entire video, and for that I am sorry. But I did do that absolute last. And I don't know why, because I knew all along what I wanted it to look like on the outside. I think I just kept getting excited and like ahead of myself and being like, oh, let's put the dining room in. And then I just kept forgetting to do the exterior. Also, you'll notice a few ducks in this build. Right now you can see 3 in the front yard. It ends up being more like 10. And so what happened was I was doing a charity event while I built this, and every $1,000 we raised for charity, I promised to hide a duck in the build. But as we were starting, we were raising all this money, and I didn't have anywhere to put any ducks because I didn't have any rooms to like hide them in yet. There was nowhere to put them. So I was just sort of like piling up ducks in the front yard with the intention of hiding them later so I wouldn't forget how many we needed. But I was raising money for Able Gamers while I built this house, and I'm actually still raising money for Able Gamers. When you're seeing this, I'm uploading this on Halloween, and today is the last last day of the fundraiser. I'm gonna be live all day, ideally until midnight tonight, celebrating Halloween and also raising money for charity. I've got some fun Sims tricks up my sleeve. So if you wanna come drop by, I'll have my Twitch channel linked down below, and I'll also have the Able Gamers link down below. If you didn't know, Able Gamers is a charity that's helping to make gaming more accessible for everyone. They work with game companies to help build games that are more accessible, like by consulting with developers and stuff like that, but they also help to make and distribute specialized controllers or like other assistive technology to people who need it so that everyone can play games. And we've been raising a lot of money for them on Twitch recently. And in fact, I promised that if we got to $50,000 raised on my channel last night, I would let Dan cut my hair on stream, which he did last night on stream. So I got a haircut. It doesn't actually look bad. I think it's pretty okay. I mean, it's definitely not like as good as it would be if you got it professionally done, obviously, but I don't think it's even bad. And here's the thing. Here's the little sneaky part. I wasn't even worried about it. I never was, because I've cut my hair a lot of times since the pandemic started, because I like to keep my hair around this length. And obviously when it's short, it grows out to a length that makes me uncomfortable like pretty fast because there's not a lot of room, you know? Like I don't want it to touch my shoulders, so you have to cut it pretty often. And obviously I wasn't going anywhere to get my hair cut at like the hairdresser, so I was doing it myself, and I was not doing a good job. Like I wouldn't even look, this is gonna hurt your feelings. I'm really sorry if you like cut hair for a living or if you're super good at this, maybe turn off the video. But I wouldn't even look in a mirror to do the back of my head. I literally wouldn't even use a mirror to do the back of my head. I'm not kidding. I would just take my scissors and like snip, snip, snip around the back and like kind of turn my head and be like, you know, so it couldn't be much worse than what I did to myself, basically. So I wasn't that worried about Dan doing it. Dan is my fiance, if you didn't know. But I feel like chat was. And you know what? It probably took a lot longer when he did it than it would have if I had done it. But also the back was better. Like, I could have done it myself and just had him like help fix the back, but it was kind of fun to watch him do it on stream. So we did that yesterday and we raised a lot of money for Able Gamers. I'm actually doing a whole charity event right now. I'm like hosting a big charity event. I kind of recruited some of my streamer friends to also join me, and 150 of them joined in. So we just passed yesterday $100,000 total raised for Able Gamers just this week, with like across all of our channels together, which I think is so cool. I'm just so excited. This has gone so much better than I ever could have possibly imagined. So if you want to drop by for the last day, it's linked down below. And also if you missed the streams and you want to watch them back because they were kind of fun, I'll link my second channel down below. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/lilsimsie, but on YouTube, my channel More Simsie, I post all the streams on after I've live streamed them, so you can watch like the full like 3-4 hour things back if you miss it. So I will have that linked for you. Feel free to subscribe. You don't have to subscribe though, because I post every day and they're all like 4 hours long. So if you don't want to watch those, don't feel like you have to subscribe. But if you do, I'll have that link too. Now, the inside of this house, let me talk you through the plans a little bit here, because I didn't want it to be all black and white on the inside. Like I very much went for that vibe on the outside, but I also just built a house like that for my shell challenge. And so I didn't really want to do that again with this one. So I tried to have it be a little bit warmer inside. Like I used brown wood floors. There's also still black doors and windows, but I tried to use like lots of colorful wallpapers. Well, it's very brown in the dining room. It does get some more color, but I was just trying to focus on wallpaper in interesting ways and kind of base it like the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney. And I was not trying to make it all be black and white because I didn't want it to be like, I don't know, cold in there. Like I wanted it to look lively, even though it's haunted. It's a lively haunted. The ghosts are having parties at this place. That's the idea. So you'll see on the floor plan that it is kind of symmetrical, like the outside of the house. The right side of the house, when you walk in the front door, has the dining room, and then the opposite side is the same size, but it's like a kitchen and breakfast nook kind of thing. And then the back of the house has a living room, and the rest of the middle is sort of just hallway. Everything about the middle is just a hallway sort of space. And I didn't put a TV in here. I was trying to kind of go a little bit more old school with the furnishings, so I didn't put like a TV or a computer anywhere because I felt like it was not really fitting. I also used the Realm of Magic kitchen set, so it kind of has these like older cast iron looking kitchen appliances. So putting in like a TV, just a big flat screen, felt a little bit inappropriate, so I didn't do that. There is an organ in the living room, which is nice. I mean, who needs to watch Netflix when you can listen to a ghost play a beautiful instrument, right? But I use some weird things like that instead of like electricity type things. Obviously the house has like lighting, but I didn't want to have it, you know, have super modern fixtures, essentially is what I'm trying to say. There's no gaming PC in here. I mean, it's just terrible, really. Imagine these poor ghosties living in a world without the Sims. How do they survive? Do you know what? If The Sims is ever gonna do any more updates to packs, or like if they were gonna go back and touch some of the older occults, I would love to see ghosts get some more to them. You know, like I think the ghosts are kind of fun in The Sims. I know I complain about occults in The Sims a lot, like they're annoying. And that's mostly because I don't like it when Vlad comes to my house and like breaks down my front door. It kind of takes me out of the immersion. But when I actively want to play with them, I acknowledge that they are fun. Like ghosts are kind of fun in The Sims 4. I love that they all have different like appearances based on how they died. Like when you die by drowning, they like drip when they walk around. Or if they died by pufferfish, they've got like a floating fish inside them. It's all very amusing. Like I like ghosts in The Sims. I would love to see them get an update to get some more like special powers. Or like imagine a skill tree like how the vampires and spellcasters have, but for ghosts. Like I just think that would be funny. Ideally though, I would rather see mermaids get an update first. Like if they're gonna go back to update occults, aliens and mermaids more so, I would like to see them get like a full skill tree like the vampires and spellcasters have, because they have nothing. Mermaids especially, I feel like were like a huge selling point of Island Living, and they're boring. They can't do anything. Vampires are way cooler. Like I want mermaids to be able to turn you into a fish or something. I don't know. I want to be like an evil mermaid or a good mermaid. Like if you kind of go two different paths, I just think that would be fun. And so I'd love to see them get an update. They did sort of slightly address future updates to packs. So if you missed it, they did this big update to Spa Day like a month or so ago. And they went back and they added a bunch of things to Spa Day, one of the more original game packs. That was the second game pack ever for The Sims 4. And they added a new trait, they added some aspirations, they added some more gameplay, they made it so that children could participate in the gameplay. They also added it so you could paint your nails and added nails to the game. So it was kind of fun. They did a bunch of stuff like that. And I would love to see them go back and update older packs again. I just don't feel like Island Living is probably at the top of their priority list. Like I think if they're gonna update older packs, they'll probably update like the first few packs. Like I'm thinking more like Spa Day, Outdoor Retreat, Get to Work, Luxury Party. If there's any pack that I think they should update next, it's Luxury Party. And let me explain to you why. It's not because I like Luxury Party and I want more of it. It's because I think at the moment, Luxury Party is bad and it's not worth the money. Like they've wasted people's money, and in comparison to the other stuff packs, it's like a third of the size. It has like a third of as much furniture and cast, and the gameplay is stupid. Like when you compare Luxury Party to the paranormal stuff pack, Luxury Party has nothing. The only gameplay is the buffet table and the like weirdly animated fountain where you can get like a chocolate fountain or a fruit punch fountain or whatever. Whereas paranormal stuff had a whole new lot type, an active career, like 3 times as much build stuff, like 3 times as much cast. I mean, paranormal is so much more than Luxury Party was. Paranormal could have been a game pack by like early game standards. And so I just really think that Luxury Party needs to be revisited and have some things added to it just to make it worth the money. And I think that it has potential. Like I like the idea of Luxury Party stuff. Maybe if there was like some sort of party planning career or like a more robust way to plan events in The Sims, like I think they could figure out some sort of gameplay that makes Luxury Party more worth it, so you can actually throw luxury parties. And maybe if they added a couple more items that were a little bit less ugly. One of the items, there's like 4 things. There's a bar, there's a bar stool, there's a sparkly table, there's a matching sparkly chair, and there's a glowing cube. Why? Why is there a glowing cube? Tell me, please. It doesn't make any sense. But if they were just to add a few more things, because the cast is actually pretty decent. It's not that bad, but the build mode is so disappointing. And the gameplay is like, it's just not on par with the more recent stuff. I mean, it makes sense that the earlier ones are going to be worse than the newer ones, because now they've like really got a handle on things and they know how much they can include. They know how to make it better. You know, it makes sense that the newer stuff is better. Luxury Party is a major disappointment. I would love to see them go back and update it, especially for a free update. Like, I just think that all the people who bought Luxury Party deserve better. They are owed an apology. And I bought Luxury Party. I was really excited about Luxury Party just because it was like the first, new content for The Sims. So like any sort of new pack, I was like, wow, this is huge. The first packs for The Sims 4. I'm so excited. Even if now we know years later that it was not good. It was still exciting back then, back in the olden days. I feel like there's not many packs that I wouldn't flat out be like, no, don't buy this for The Sims 4. Like most packs, even if I'm not a huge fan of the gameplay involved in them, like for example, vampires, I don't play with vampires very often. I don't think vampires is bad though. I just don't really find myself playing with vampires very much. So the gameplay in that pack doesn't super appeal to me. So like I wouldn't recommend that pack for a person like myself because there's probably a different game pack that I would use more often, you know? Like Dream Home Decorator, I would recommend way over vampires just because I would use it more often. But you might love vampires, and so it's not like it's a waste of money. It would be fun for you. It's a good, well-made pack. So there's not many packs that I would like wholeheartedly not recommend because I feel like for most people, somebody's gonna like something about it. Like I think that Get Famous is probably my least favorite expansion pack, but I can acknowledge that it might be your favorite, you know? And like I see there's like fun stuff in there. It's just not stuff that super interests me personally, but other people might like it. Whereas Luxury Party, honest to God, I don't think it's worth the money. Like I don't recommend that pack at all. I wholeheartedly don't buy it. Like, maybe if they update it, buy it. But like, as of right now, get something else. If you're gonna pick a pack, don't pick that one. The newer stuff packs have so much more stuff in them. Like, the value of your money could go so much further with a newer pack. It's kind of fun to make fun of. Honestly, I think that Luxury Party is worse than My First Pet Stuff. And I feel like that is a controversial opinion because My First Pet Stuff itself is controversial. That bad boy was DLC for DLC. Like you had to buy cats and dogs also to get all the stuff included in it, which is so bad. But like the things in My First Pet Stuff, like that one has a new death, you know, like it's actually got some interesting gameplay, which makes it, in my opinion, not as worthless. It's not as wasted as Luxury Party. That one has nothing in it, no new gameplay. Do you know what else? I don't want to talk good about My First Pet Stuff, but My First Pet Stuff, the death it comes with, if you didn't know, I honestly think it's hilarious. We were talking about ghosts earlier. The ghost of that death is in the rodent costume that comes with My First Pet Stuff. So your ghost will walk around in the rodent costume because they die from rabid rodent fever. And it happens when they get bit by one of the rodents. There's like 4. You can have like a hamster or a rat or whatever. And if you get bit by one of them, there's a chance of your sim getting sick with rabid rodent fever. You have a chance of getting sick, and if they do get sick, you have to like buy the medicine online. It tells you how to get it. It's not like hard to get. But if you choose to not cure the disease, they get like slowly more and more sick, and then they die. And then they walk around in a rat costume as a ghost. It's so funny. And the death is like kind of scary. They start like foaming at the mouth and it's green. It's kind of creepy. It's like the poison death from the Jungle Adventure pack. But like the death is actually kind of fun. Also, like the last time I had it happen to a sim in my legacy challenge, I didn't even do it on purpose. Like he got bit by accident and then I noticed him starting to get sick and I could have cured him. I could have helped him. But instead, I just didn't. I simply chose not to. I decided I wouldn't fix his illness. And so he just got progressively more sick. And the game was like, he better avoid others because he's contagious. And I didn't know if that meant he was like legit contagious. So I locked him in his bedroom so he wouldn't get my other sims sick. And I just let him die. And it like starts counting down. The more sick they get, it comes with a countdown like, we'll die of rabid rodent fever in 6 hours, in 5 hours, in 4. And it like, anyway, in my opinion, it's very funny. So I can hate the idea of My First Pet Stuff and also acknowledge that the death from the pack is good. One of these days, I should make a video ranking all the deaths in The Sims because there are some funny ones. But that's the build done. Let's pop into the game now and I'll give you a quick tour of the finished house. What is this save? Where am I? I just clicked play. I didn't actually check where I was loading into. Oh, we're in the right place. Okay, here's the house. So it's in the vampire's world. As you can see, it deleted my terrain paint. Oh my God, that is the most annoying glitch. Look, so my beautiful paths are gone. There we go. Uh-oh. Also, I didn't change the color of these graves. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I've made a big mistake. All right, my terrain paint's back though. So here's the house. As you can see, it's very Haunted Manor vibes. I did give it a few lot challenges. It has creepy crawlies, it's cursed, and it's spooky. And also, it's literally a haunted house lot type. So when you play in it, it'll have the haunted house gameplay from the paranormal pack. So when you first walk up to the house, there's a little path that'll take you around the back and then onto the patio. There's 2 entrances to the backyard and they're from the side doors over here. There's like side doors in the kitchen and side doors in the dining room. And then one side has like a little table and then the other side just has like some garden stuff. And then in between them, there is the family graveyard. Probably wouldn't venture out there too much, but that's up to you. When you walk up the front porch though, it takes you straight first into the entryway. It's like a big entry staircase. Very classic, looks about how you would expect it to. And then it takes you into the dining room. I did put a lot of cobwebs around the house too, you'll notice. I thought it was appropriate because in my head, only ghosts live here. And like the ghosts just pass right through the cobwebs. You know, they're not gonna break them. They're not gonna disturb the spideys. So they just keep on coming. But there's like a fancy formal dining space right here with the fireplace and everything. The fireplace actually does line up with the chimney. Let's point that out. And then you go through there into like a fancy formal hallway. There's a little tiny bathroom right off of it. And then there's entrances to the kitchen and the living room. So the kitchen's on the right side of the house, left side, depends how you're looking at it. Left side, sure. And there's like a little breakfast nook where there's a tiny table. And there's just some kitchen counters. These are from the vampire pack. And I thought it kind of worked with the brick and the tile, like it all kind of matched. Back in the living room, we've got the fancy organ I was talking about and just like a little sitting area. There's not a TV or anything like I mentioned. It's more like a formal sort of living room. You'd entertain guests in here with your musician. You also might be noticing a few ducks from time to time. There's one on the organ. There's one in the trash can, you know, hit them around the place. It was for charity, okay? And then upstairs on the second floor, there's 4 bedrooms. You'll see there's one bedroom, the biggest one that I'm counting is the parents' bedroom. It's kind of got this red theme. I feel like the color scheme is a little bit ugly in a lot of these rooms, and that was intentional. Like, I hate the colors of the bathroom, but it kind of works. So that's the parents' room. We've got another like fancy bedroom. It's the biggest bedroom, but it doesn't have an ensuite. There's a little tiny nursery, also a duck in the bassinet. One more double bedroom. This one I thought was horrible. The blue, oh, gross. And then we have this bathroom in the hallway too. Notice the duck, please. And then, I wonder where this odd bookcase might lead to. So that takes you into the ladder, and then up the ladder is that fancier library room I was talking about. There actually is another bathroom up here. It's a small one. I had this like weird wall, so I figured I might as well just put a little bathroom there. Get an extra toilet. And then this room has the seance table and then like some books and things. There's, you know, a duck. Everything you could need all in one space. But that is the haunted house. I know the shape of it's a bit odd, but I like it. I like this sort of manor style house. I think it's kind of fun. It is on my gallery if you want to download it. It's called Haunted House. My name's just lilsimsie. It uses quite a few packs, which I apologize for, but I had to maximize the haunt. So I did what I had to do. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. Reminder, I am live on Twitch all night tonight, so if you don't have any Halloween plans and you wanna hang out and play some Sims with us, you're welcome to join us. I too don't have any Halloween plans, so I'll be streaming, probably in a hot dog costume, and you're invited to come by. It's also for charity, so in my opinion, it's worth it. But with that being said, I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. I am not kidding. My mother wore a crab costume to work today. I have a crab costume for stream, and she borrowed it to wear to her work's little party at the office today. She is dressed as a crab at work.